babies, it's that time again. Oh yeah. We're back to work. We're doing 2 weeks of 4-hour days, helping suicidal kids regain their hope for the future. Oh yeah, baby. And the thing I love about my job is that it's a perfect opportunity to put the gospel into practice. And not everybody has that opportunity, really. Because if you're just stocking shelves, or you're waiting on tables, or you're balancing spreadsheets, sometimes it's hard to see how that can be an act of love, or the giving of oneself. But when you're working with suicidal teenagers, who mostly are that way because we really don't celebrate diversity in public life. We talk a good talk, but we really don't do it. And so kids feel threatened by the judgment in society that is not accepting of who they are. So I think it's our duty, if we can make a difference, to do that. And the best way to do that, from my perspective, is to do it in the spirit of surrendering to the will of God through Jesus, to show acts of love and service to kids who are desperate for someone to pay attention to them, and to validate their exploration. Oh yeah, baby. However, that's not to mean I think 13-year-olds should go through surgery operations, when really that kind of a decision, if it's going to be permanent, needs to be done after the age of 21, when the brain, for the most part, has come to the end of its growth cycle. So after you're 21, if you want to have a change using surgery, then that's your choice. But for a 13-year-old to do it, or anyone before age 21, I just think it's a crime that people are cheerleading that type of decision when a kid just might be reacting to a world of judgment and doesn't really know what else to do other than to go to the extreme, especially after seeing the acceptance of those extremes in public life. And that is not what I'm talking about in the need for presenting diversity in public life. I'm talking about just the simple tolerance and support of children and adults exploring ways to express themselves that are not traditional, and just to give them that love and support to keep exploring keep being true to yourself, but to make decisions with as much data to support the decision as possible. Oh yeah, babe. And that to me is evidence of love. Anything less than love is not God. So we know that if we can measure love, then we can have the confidence to know we are acting in accordance with our Creator, and in my case, our Savior, Jesus. Oh yeah, babe. So that's why I'm excited to get back to work. Because I know for at least 4 hours a day, I can measure whether or not I'm acting in love. When I'm on my own and there's no one around me, just other than myself, it's a little harder to measure acts of love. It's not impossible, but it's harder. So that's why I like this, because it gives me the discipline and the reassurance that I'm growing, and that someone other than myself is benefiting from my presence and commitment and decision making. Oh yeah, baby. So that's why life is a joy, and it's an honor for us to know that we're in this position to be in service to other people for the rest of our lives. And to know that because God is love, He inhabits our efforts, because we're submitted to His Spirit to make it happen in a creative way, in a unique way, in an individualized way for the person that we're trying to help make good decisions for themselves and learn those skills that they can trust in for the rest of their lives. Oh yeah, baby. Just like that. So when I tell people I do this for a living, they always say, "Oh, that's a tough job." And they think it's, and they're saying that because they're thinking of how deep the needs are of suicidal kids. But to be honest with you, the hardest part about the job is working with the adults who don't have the revelation of what I just described to you, and instead are so full of their own good intentions that they're no better than the Pharisees were in the day of Jesus, who, because of their knowledge of the law and their study of the scriptures, they were overly confident that their way was God's way. And because of that, they walked over all those who were vulnerable and needy for someone to just love them with the compassion of Jesus. Oh yeah, babe. So we want to be careful of how much we trust in laws that were never created by God, but were created by people with the best of intentions of pleasing God and living in accordance with God's will. But now, in the 21st century, we know that if God is love, He cannot be genocidal, murderous, in favor of slavery, rape, homophobia, and misogyny. And instead, we know that God is humble, wise, creative, loving, and that's where we rest, and that's where He can rest in us, and together as one we can create in this dark world light and hope. Oh yeah, baby,